Today's the day that we will go through the entire NFL and hammer overs and unders for every single team in an entertaining, efficient, and successful fashion. All of these lines are set at FanDuel. We have some good ones. Let's get to it. Let's start with the North, because when you say the cardinal directions, you go north, then you go south, then you go east, then you go west. And that stinks for the West, because even in the elementary school, they're being taught to be last. And the East Coast bias is a real thing. That's why Archie Manning pulled Eli Manning out of the Chargers organization and threw him into the Giants. We'll talk about how both those teams are going to do in just a second. But let's dive into the AFC North, shall we? The AFC North last year was won by the Baltimore Ravens. So this is much different than what we just had there. The Baltimore Ravens over-under is now at 11.5. I do believe the Baltimore Ravens, after an offseason of Lamar Jackson, seeing Patrick Mahomes get $500 million in his bank account. After seeing Patrick Mahomes have an MVP season, then go on to have a Super Bowl MVP. I believe Lamar Jackson's going to have a great year, but I'm hammering the under. The Baltimore Ravens. I think it's going to be a whole new ball game in that AFC North. I think they're going to get 10 wins, but 11 wins, 11.5 wins, 10 or 11 wins is a lot of wins. That's a lot of wins.
Great season.
They won 14-2 last year. Insane season by the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're going to win double-digit games. I'm just not sure they get to 12, 13, 14, because guess who's back? Back again. His name is Big. Oh, Big Ben. Big Ben Roethlisberger is back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their over-under right now is 9. I would hammer the over for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I am in on the Pittsburgh Steelers having a very good team this year for a couple different reasons. Now, quack, 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 quack. Duck Hodges was our guy. And no offense to Duck Hodges, and this is no offense to any other quarterback, Duck Hodges is nothing compared to Ben Roethlisberger at this point. Now, if Duck was to play for like 18 years or however long Ben Roethlisberger's been in the NFL, win a couple Super Bowls, go through everything Big Ben's gone through, then maybe we'll say Duck and Big Ben are similar. But Big Ben coming back after watching that terrible documentary, worst documentary I've ever seen. Worst documentary I've ever seen.
By far.
By just terribly.
Depends on who you talk to.
I shouldn't be that strong about it. I guess there has been worse documentaries, but that Big Ben, that Big Ben documentary was not a good one.
But we're all brothers.
No, it was very, very tough. I mean, it was just.
Guy's pouring his heart out.
Yeah, well, he's doing too much of that, I think. He's doing too much of that. But I think they're going to be very good. I would hammer the over there on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are specifically the reason why I think the Baltimore Ravens are potentially going to lose a couple more games because of Big Ben Roethlisberger. The Cleveland Browns are at 8.5. I'll tell you what about this dog pound. They've been waiting to have a good team. 8.5 is going to be tough, they'd say. 8.5 maybe going to be easy, because if you don't win over 8.5, what are you? You're mediocre yet again. Baker Mayfield's probably out the door, by the way. Especially with a new GM, our guy, with a new head coach, Kevin Stefanski. I'd say 8.5.
Oh no.
With that quarterback? Lightning in the under.
I would bet very, very low on that one, though.
Imagine if they had a quarterback.
Baker Mayfield, he even admitted he came in a little bit out of shape. He got married. He had a lot going on.
Yeah.
These are some growing pains for Baker Mayfield, but that offense has so many weapons. You got a coach in there who actually maybe has a brain a little bit. He's like an Ivy League guy. You got some stuff cooking over there. I'm saying over strictly because I want the dog pound to have it, but if you're betting alongside us at home, do not put a lot of money on that one, because that is the biggest question mark in the AFC North for sure. Let's get to the Cincinnati Bengals. Old Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals have an over-under of
5.5.
5.5.
Come on.
Under. Not because Joe Burrow. Not because the Bengals fans. They just had a massive injury. They spent some money this offseason. Joe Burrow hasn't really had a chance to do anything, and we know nothing about this head coach. Now, I could be completely wrong about this head coach, but they are in the Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers division. They have a rookie quarterback who's very good. I think Joe Burrow is going to be very, very talented. They don't have an indoor practice facility, and they have a head coach who was trying to win last year, and the only thing he won was the number 1 overall pick. I think they are potentially in a little bit of a struggle bus, especially because the offseason that it was. I like the Bengals going forward in the future, but right now I just don't see how they have a lot of success. Dan Orlovsky told me that I'm wrong for thinking that the no offseason is going to be a problem, the no preseason, but noted stooge. Dan Orlovsky has told us, I like Dan Orlovsky a lot.
Me too.
I just think he's going to struggle a lot more than people think. The Ravens defense, historically very good. Steelers defense, historically very good. That is going to be difficult for any rookie quarterback, let alone one who didn't have an entire offseason. I just think that's going to be a bit tough for the Cincinnati
How does
Bengals.
the locker room react when Joe Burrow walks in with that 9-diamond chain?
Yeah, they like it. They like it. I assume he didn't buy that. That was gifted to him. Well, if he bought it,
It cost a frost, baby.
it cost.
Have you seen that guy's stuff?
It ain't easy to freeze, dog. The place would have gone crazy, obviously, as soon as he walks in there. It would have been. By the way, No Ceilings on Spotify. Lil Wayne's
so
mixtape.
happy.
It is back. They took out a couple songs, but this morning it felt like I was right back in 2009, which, by the way, was the year I was drafted to the Indianapolis Colts, who went undefeated and played in the Super Bowl. So a lot of great memories, by the way, with old No Ceilings there. I mean,
So happy.
gosh. Smoking on that Bob Marley, listening to Pete Tosh. I had great times with that song. I mean, there is some very great memories with No Ceilings. It was a nice little pleasant surprise this morning, but that has nothing to do with now we got to talk with the NFC North. The NFC North is one where a first-round draft pick for the leader of this division was completely wasted on a backup quarterback that you don't need to draft until a couple years from now because Aaron Rodgers was looking damn good last year. Now, they gave up 186 yards rushing before contact in the NFC Championship game. They have the over-under set at 9 there.
8.5, it looks like.
For the Green Bay Packers?
Vikings.
Yeah, Green Bay Packers.
9.
9. That is tough to see from here. I'm going to be honest. That is it's just one big blob. I feel like I'm doing the eye test thing. And you know when they have the glass on? There we go. That one helps out a lot. The glass thing, you know when they have that.
Option 1 or option 2?
Yeah, and it's all
all the same, right?
Option 2, option 3.
No,
in.
I think they're different, but every single time they do it, you have to ask, are these different or not?
They're definitely different.
They are definitely different because it feels like they're just like wiping off the thing when they flip it over or whatever.
You ever make them go backwards to see if they were full of shit?
I don't know. You can't ask them. Can't say that either. Last day not being allowed to say that.
Sorry, Don.
Sorry. But let's go to the Green Bay Packers. Over under there at 9. I'm hitting the over just because Aaron Rodgers is about to burn the entire house down.
Yep.
Then let's go to the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings over under at 8.5. I'm going to go with the Lions. The Lions.
Hold on, 8.5.
Vikings way under.
No. I want to say under because they lost their offensive coordinator and they were rolling at the end of the year.
Stephon Diggs.
that
Two guys
is a
on
big
defense.
deal. They lost Stephon Diggs, but they drafted old Cuz, who's very good. They still got Thielen. They got Kirk Cousins. They got our guy Kyle Rudolph. They're going to have a good defense. But boy, you lose your play caller whenever that offense is finally humming. I think that is a little bit difficult, especially because Zimmer is a guy, by the way, it has been said, he was the one telling the offense coordinator, stop throwing the ball, run the ball, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. Then they opened it up a little bit, which helped out Dalvin Cook and helped out everybody. He's gone. So with a new offense coordinator, be intimidated by Zimmer just to run the rock the entire time on Dalvin Cook. Push, I'm high.
They also lost 2 captains on defense, Xavier Rhodes and Everson Griffin, both captains of that defense.
So maybe we tap the under for the
Tap
the under.
Good tap.
Tap the under.
Same with the Browns over.
Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are over under 7. I like where the Detroit Lions are heading. Hammer the over. I like Lions.
8-8.
They had
Good
the lead. They had the lead 10 times in the fourth quarter last year and couldn't get the job done. One more year of experience. Matty Stafford's back, and I think he threw a football 97 yards in practice the other day. It was insane. And by the way, the Lions are tighter, I think, than they've ever been. Remember, just a couple years ago, Matt Patricia lost the locker room. Now they boycotted a practice. They were standing out front together. Matt Patricia was there. The whole team. Feels like that team is coming together. And by the way, when a team comes together like that, that's when they win those close games. That's whenever they go a little bit extra. That's when they know about each other. I think the Lions are going to go over 7. That actually might be like lock that one up. Yeah, I think they win more than 7 games. And I said the same thing about the Browns last year, though, so let's remember that. And the Chicago Bears over under 8. They don't even know who their quarterback is. I'm going to go ahead and hammer.
2 times the quarterback, though.
What's that?
2 times the quarterback.
Well, if you have 2 quarterbacks, that means
that if one gets COVID, you're good, baby.
So the Chicago Bears have 2 quarterbacks, which means you have no quarterbacks. They have 2 kickers, which means you have no kickers. They have 45 tight ends. I feel like that place is waiting to get blown up at some point. I'm hammering the under on the Chicago Bears, even though I love Chuck Pagano. I love what's going on. I love people in Chicago. Zito, you're telling me.
I disagree.
You disagree heavily.
I'm hammering the over.
Hammering the over?
Yes, I am.
Like passionately.
Oh, yeah.
You feel good about it?
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to sway me, you think, over to the over?
You know what? I'm not a guy to sway anybody, but I know what my team's going to do.
Are they going to start Nick Foles or not?
Yes, they are.
Hammer the over them for the Chicago Bears. Nick Foles is a winner.
Chance.
I got the over on the Lions, over on the Bears, and over on the Packers, under on the Vikings.
Bears is only a full start, so I'm taking notes here on you.
I don't know how those numbers will add up. I don't know how 3 people in the same division can be over. But if you throw enough darts at the dartboard, you're going to get a bullseye at some point because there's no other place for the thing to stick.
7 spots in the playoffs this year. 3 teams from one division can go.
Yeah, you're right.
That Lions line started at 6.5 too. That's where
up.
actually I
There's a
got
lot of
it.
heat
So
on
now
it.
it's at 7.
Okay, all right. So I think the Lions hammer the over, by the way.
I think they're the only team in that division that got better. I would argue all the other teams got worse this offseason.
Aaron Rodgers said he's in better shape than he's ever been because of the offseason. So not being around the building and just working out at home or whatever.
Yeah.
So if Aaron Rodgers gets better, I'd assume that means that the
he's got a
Packers
foot out the
might
door,
be-
though. He's
might
got
be
a
a
foot
little
out the
better,
door,
yeah.
though.
it feels like they probably got a little bit
might
better.
be
He's
a little
telling
better.
everyone to suck
Teams
it
just
because
keep him off
he's
the
on
field,
an
though.
island
No,
out there.
by the way, him saying suck it means he's loving football.
No,
right
I
now.
think it means he hates his teammates.
No, it
you don't
means
get it
it
from
means
him.
he said he watched some film
No, you
from
don't get it.
2010.
You don't
It
get
means
football
he watched film from 2010. And he said he saw something in there. I wonder if it was like him being excited to practice, if that's what happened, or what he saw in film. I will ask him at some point because that's a big deal. He said he went back to 2010 watching practice film of himself, and he found something and he brought into practice. And he threw like 6 deep ball touchdowns in a row. Then he was giving a suck it sign to everybody.
I was thinking he's telling everyone to suck it because he hates them all because they drafted Jordan Love.
No, it's not like a Tom
telling
Brady
defense.
situation. It's not like I need you to be faster. I need you to be more explosive.
Brady,
I need you to be the. Let's go to the AFC South here. 32 minutes after the hour, we're going to have to hammer home these things. The Indianapolis Colts are at 9. Go ahead and hammer the over for that one.
Oh, yeah?
Hammer the over for that one.
Rivers?
Phillip Rivers, I think. All signs from camp is that he is playing very well,
Right.
and the team is very, very good right now. So the Colts also were a team that immediately decided to suspend their practices yesterday to have a real conversation. I think that team is probably coming together. If you have the front office making a decision with a coach, with the players, that normally means unison. And for me, that type of thing is an X factor that can't get talked about enough. You can't measure it at the combine. You can't measure it anywhere else. You can only have a team that likes each other so often. And when they do, normally they play really well. It's not often you say, oh, that team stinks, but the locker room likes each other. Normally, that team stinks and people hate each other in that locker room. That's just, and by the way, that could be because you lose and you're super competitive, but normally teams that like each other go on to have good teams. Indianapolis Colts over under at 9. We're going over. Tennessee Titans 8.5. Let's go over on that one too, for sure. They got Derrick Henry back, Ryan Tannehill. They also they put out a big message yesterday. Feels like they're a good squad right now. Vrabel's always going to do well. Jacksonville Jaguars over under 4.5. I'll tell you what, hard not to hammer the under here.
Very hard.
Very hard. Just because Gardner Minshew going into his second year, the sophomore slump is a real thing, especially for a guy who doesn't have any competition right now either. He's a young guy. He was a late draft pick. I love him as a person. I love his personality. I love what he did last year. I don't know if they win 5 games. I don't know if they do.
Fournette?
They won 6 last year. Did they get
Fournette
better?
hated
Worse?
being there. Yeah.
Looking for $100 million, though.
Under. I'm going under for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Duval has got some things they got to do over the next couple of years. Houston Texans 7.5. Hammer that over, dude. J.J. Watt's back. Hammer the over.
Yep.
Remember, Superman came back early. They had a 20-some point lead on the Kansas City Chiefs at one point during the playoffs. Now, granted, they handed the keys over. They lost DeAndre Hopkins
Yes.
for a 4th-round pick. Bill O'Brien, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's about to get paid, too. I think the Texans could do well. Let's go to the NFC South. Let's go to the NFC South. Let's go to the NFC South. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 9.5 over under. That's a double-digit winning team for sure.
Yeah.
Hammer the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over. New Orleans Saints over under 10.5. Let's go ahead and hammer the under on that one. I think Thomas Morstead's going to have a great season. He's the punter. That is something to think about. Let's go to the Atlanta Falcons over under 7.5. I think over.
Oh, yeah.
I think
yeah.
at least 8 for the Atlanta Falcons. And then let's go for the Carolina Panthers over under 5.5. I'm going to go. That's a tough one.
Everyone's new except
Over.
for McCaffrey.
But being a new team, they don't know what they don't know. right? And if Teddy Bridgewater is anything like he was in those 5 games last year where he went undefeated for the Saints in an offense that was revolving around Drew Brees, and if Christian McCaffrey can play anything like he played last year, in that new defense, I assume with Coach Snow, who Matt Rule brought from Baylor, who he's been coaching alongside, that's a good – I'm going to go with the – under for them.
Oh, no. How hard is it?
Just because the division, that's a tough division. That is a tough division. That's at least 8 of their games, or 6 of their games are going to be tough.
With Joe Brady, how hard is it for like an offensive coordinator to go from college to NFL? Because head coach, obviously, difficult.
I don't know. Cliff Kingsbury, I think last year he learned late very quickly, like what was going on. But early, there's a lot of things when it came to protection, I believe he probably struggled with. Same with Kyler. So I don't know. I think Joe Brady is very smart. I think that offense with Joe Burrow was a pro-style offense. I think they took the world by storm, obviously. But you never know what's going to happen. You have no idea. What if Teddy and Joe don't get along as much as Joe and Joe? Not that they wouldn't. They probably do. What if Matt Rule and see something there? I mean, there's just so many things that can fall into place that you don't know about the Carolina Panthers because they are a young team. But, boy, I love Coach Rule. I love Teddy Bridgewater. I love Christian McCaffrey. I like Phil Snow. Joe Brady. I mean, I like that team. I like that team. I'm hammering the over. There it is. Panthers. We got to get to a break 36 minutes after the hour. We will finish out the rest of the NFL. I feel like we're off to a hot start.
4 more to go, baby.
I feel like we're off to a hot start. You've made money with us already. You're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome. By the way, this past fall, I think I made everybody money.
Oh, yeah.
Rather large.
Absolutely.
Boosting the odds with FanDuel. Hilarious. And then I hit there for I went on like a 2-month run where I was just like, this thing was great. And then, by the way, this thing got very cold. Very, very cold. But guess what? She's been in the shed all off season. Quarantining, building up its power. This is the hottest hammer that I've ever held in my hand.
Hell yeah.
We are hot right now. Did the AFC North, the NFC North, the AFC South, the NFC South. What's next? The AFC East. Let's get to it. The AFC East has been owned and dominated and operated by one team for the last 20 years. Now, granted, the Buffalo Bills made a play last year, got into the playoffs, made it further than this team, but the New England Patriots are brand new. No Tom Brady. No Kyle Van Noy. No Patrick Chung. No middle linebacker guy.
Dante Hightower.
No
Marcus Cannon.
No
Rob Gronkowski.
No offensive line coach. No special teams coordinator. No. I mean, there is a lot of no's up there in New England, but there is one yes, and that's Bill Belichick.
Hell yeah!
And the New England Patriots over-under is at 9.5. If they don't win 10 games, Bill Belichick might retire. That doesn't seem like likely. Ladies and gentlemen, over on the New England Patriots with Cam Newton and Bill Belichick. I just think until they prove otherwise, up there with Ernie and Bill and McDaniels and whoever else they have, it just feels like they create winning teams. That's what they do. We create winning teams up here. That's how this world operates in New England. We have Ernie Adams in the sky. The sky never lies. We got a lot of things cooking. They have Cam Newton fresh. They're going to win at least 10 games. And even if they don't, guess what? Who do they have if not Cam Newton?
Jarrett Stidham.
That's right. That's right. He's hurt already, and he was throwing a lot of picks before he got hurt.
Yep.
And there's a lot of things about that. But, maybe he's just unlucky. Maybe he's unlucky. Cam Newton is a whole new guy. Bill Belichick, that defense is going to be good. They got Gilly Lock. And until they prove otherwise, it's just a smart bet to hammer the over for the New England Patriots. Let's go. Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are over under 8.5. Is that what that says?
Yep.
8.5. Over for that one, for sure. They will continue to build off of what they did last year. They probably win 9 games, by the way. What a hole of an ass comment for me, by the way, to say, well, I think they're going to win a half a game more than the over.
They were 10-6 last year.
But I honestly do believe that. Josh Allen, will he get better? Hopefully. He's got Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen got better last year from the previous year. He'll continue to grow. One more year of McDermott clapping at practice. We saw that at Mic'd Up. I like the Buffalo Bills. They, by the way, could have signed Cam Newton. We talked to their general manager, said, no, we want to empower Josh Allen. This is his team. We bring in another weapon in Stephon Diggs. That defense is good. They're losing our guy, Lorenzo Alexander. Who knows how they replace them, but I think the Buffalo Bills are another over team there. The Miami Dolphins, over under at 6. Is that what that says?
Yep.
Over.
Okay.
Over for sure. Over for sure. So now I have 3 teams in the same division with the over, which means what's that for the New York Jets? Under.
Yeah, they got Gase.
I am just not sold on Adam Gase. And he doesn't have to prove himself to me, obviously. Adam Gase has made a lot of money. He'll even tell you that, I guess, from people's conversations with him. He'll let you know that happens. He has had success whenever Peyton Manning was his quarterback and calling everything and run the entire ship. He goes down to Miami. He stinks there. They go to the Jets. He stinks there. Towards the end of the season, when Sam Darnold came back from mono last year, they were much better looking at football than they were, obviously, with an insurance salesman playing quarterback for them on Monday Night Football, I think. But I just feel like Adam Gase is not the type of guy I want to see succeed, so I don't think that that's a team I'll ever bet the over on. And that stinks for Jets fans because I assume they're very loyal. I assume they're very active, but they could have been Giants fans. They chose to be Jets fans, and they're probably Mets fans as well. Fools. And they chose to be Mets fans, and we'll talk about the drama surrounding the Mets here in the second hour with Jet passing. They could have picked the Yankees. That's on them. They like that type of thing. I think they even want the Jets to stink next year, which they probably are going to.
Yeah, and they lost Jamal Adams, and I believe, and I'm just looking right here, and it's confirmed, they do not have a wide receiver on the roster. So
CJ Mosley.
That's going to be tough.
CJ Mosley also opted out of it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean, let's go to the NFC. That team, they don't deserve it. I know a lot of Jets fans, by the way. I know a lot of Jets fans. They don't deserve it. But they signed Adam Gase, so that's on you. You got to deal with that.
When Brashad Perryman and Chris Hogan are your two starting wide receivers.
Whoa. I didn't know they had Chris Hogan.
Yeah, they got, Did you know he played lacrosse?
The lacrosse guy?
Yeah, did you know that?
Super Bowl champion lacrosse guy?
Yeah.
He's on the Jets now?
Yeah. Made a one-handed catch the other day.
Who did he play for last year? Carolina?
He had 8 catches for Carolina. Yeah.
Hey, brother.
8.
Now that the Premier League lacrosse is getting some national attention, I think Chris Hogan probably potentially goes right back into that league. Same time. Dual athlete,
Whoa.
Bo Jackson. I watched a video of Bo Jackson this morning, by the way, throwing somebody out from left field, and it was a 145-mile-an-hour ball, I think he threw.
Bo Hogan.
Bo Hogan. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
not?
Let's go to the NFC East now. Washington football team, over under 5. If they win 6 games next year, that'll be a miracle, just strictly because of the culture, the drama, the distractions, everything like that. Ron Rivera, great football coach, was highly sought after. So whenever he chose to go to Washington, a lot of people were confused. As he's there, the entire world burns down around him. Washington Post has 2 articles exposing their toxic culture. Then there's other things that are happening with the team name. You got to change the whole team name. Everything's changing over there. If they can win games this year, that'll be an incredible mental test. I don't think they're able to do it, but I do think they're set up for success in the future. I'm hammering the under on the Washington Redskins. New York Giants, over under a 6 there. I'm hammering the under on the New York Giants, over under 6. Just because Joe Judge, I think he will be able to turn it around, but they're going to have to be patient. He's going to have to get his guys in there, just like what happened with Matt Patricia in Detroit. I think the first couple years there's going to be a lot of growing pains. I like Daniel Jones. I like Saquon Barkley, but I think that is going to have to be a culture that's going to have to buy into Joe Judge, and I'm not just sure that's meant for everybody, especially coming out of the Patriots organization.
Sophomore slump you were just talking about too with Big Dan Jones. I mean, he put on so much gosh darn muscle. He might be throwing the ball 80 yards every
Yeah,
toss.
but they might be running the rock with him too, because he's incredibly athletic. And maybe he put on weight to run the ball more. If him and Saquon are doing like a
read option,
a type of run thing, maybe they are more likely to. I think that's going to be tough. I think they're a couple years away from winning as well. Joe Judge is going to change that culture if they give him enough time. Who knows? Dallas Cowboys, over under, what is that? 9.5?
9.5.
9.5, over under. I don't know.
Come on, it's way over.
It's way over. Yeah.
I know, but this is every single year.
Every
This
year.
is every single year with the Dallas Cowboys.
They
They're
love
gonna be-
winning 9 games.
McCarthy, dude. It's not Jason Garrett. It's McCarthy in
Have
there
we
now.
seen him coach? We haven't seen him coach. I like
Loaded
Mike McCarthy.
offense.
He's a Pittsburgh guy. They got weapons on top of
CeeDee
weapons.
Lamb.
They got a defense. They signed everybody but the quarterback to a long-term deal. We'll go over just because Jason Garrett doesn't have his hands on it. By the way, Jason Garrett does have his hands on the New York Giants.
He does.
Another reason why to maybe bet the under there. Philadelphia Eagles over under 9.5. They just lost their entire left side of their line for the season. They have 2 quarterbacks, which means you have
No quarterbacks.
Carson Wentz is the guy. Carson Wentz is a stud. He got them into the playoffs with a lot of injuries. I just don't see that happening again with their injuries and people gone. I'm going under for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that locks up the AFC in the NFC East. Let's go to the West Coast, the left coast. Let's go with the AFC West, which is the home of the reigning, defending undisputed Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs team. Over under set at 11.5. They keep everybody on their roster somehow. They sign their studs to a long-term deal. No offseason means they had more time to break after a long season last year with the Super Bowl. They already know the offense. Patrick Mahomes last year said on that barbershop show he didn't know how to read a defense till halfway through last season. I mean, anybody that bets under on 11.5, I think is stupid. And maybe if they end up winning 10 games, those people are going to be like, I knew they were going to stumble or whatever. Those people are annoying. You don't want them in your life. Kansas City Chiefs with Andy Reid with the championship, although it is hard to go back to back. Back to back. They had a very different offseason than all the other championship teams. I think them being together, being cohesive unit, and having Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, Watkins, who's the running
Clyde
back?
Edwards-Helaire.
Offensive line is still together. Defense got better. I think Kansas City Chiefs over 11.5, maybe right alongside that Detroit Lions over 7.
Ooh.
This is the biggest hammer that we got. Also in the AFC East, you have the Los Angeles Chargers. We'll be talking to Tom Telesco in about 9 minutes. Over under of 8. We'll talk to him about that. Las Vegas Raiders over under 7.5. I'm going to go under just because I know nothing about them. Got a great new stadium. Las Vegas is going to be tough, though. There are going to be some distractions in Las Vegas. How will NFL players handle that for a full football season? I'm intrigued to find out. How about the away teams? Are they just going to lock themselves in hotels so that they don't get the Vegas flu like the NHL was having when the Vegas Golden Knights came on board? I think the under there is real, and who knows who the next quarterback is for Gruden, even though Carr will probably end up somewhere playing very good for very cheap after this season. Also, Denver Broncos. I like the Broncos over 7.5.
Okay.
I like the Broncos a lot. I think last year they went in and just did damage to the Houston Texans late. Drew Lock threw, I think, like 45 touchdowns that game. He's got nothing but swag for whatever reason. He might be one of those guys, too, who's just – he's very much like me. Doesn't know what he doesn't know. Just kind of dumb. Let's kind of keep it moving. I like him a lot. NFC West, just knocked that out. Just did. Here we go. Seattle Seahawks over 9.5. Los Angeles Rams over 8.5. No, probably under, actually. San Francisco 49ers over 10.5. Arizona Cardinals under 7.5.
Really? Why?
Under.
They got rid of A.Q. Shipley. That's going to be tough.
True.
Hey, he looks good in his new uniform.
Hey, he looks svelte down there in Tampa. We just took down the entire AFC North, NFC North, AFC South, NFC South, AFC East, NFC East. You get it. And the West. Did the entire NFL over-under. I feel good about what we did.
It looks good.
We just made a lot of money, I think. I think we just made a lot of money.
Hit every single team.
I'm very confident in all of those, except for like 3 of them really gave me problems.
Yeah.
3 of them gave me problems.
Yeah, the Browns and the Bears were.
Oh, come on.
And the Vikings were.
And the Cowboys.
And the Cowboys.
Imagine if the Bears took Cam Newton.
What do you mean? We have
Nick Foles, even better. They got Nick Foles.
Oh, yeah, for
I
sure.
did bet the over on the Bears strictly when I found out that it sounds like Nick Foles is going to be the
Super Bowl winning quarterback.
He is Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Mitch is looking better than ever.
Is Cam
though.
a Super Bowl winning quarterback?
Nope.
No, he's not. He actually, one of his biggest moments is why everybody hates him. It's because he was mad when they lost
So
because
he's
the
bad on the
fumble.
big stage?
Yeah.
No, well, he's been to the big stage.
I mean,
When did the Bears? When was the last time the Bears?
85, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, 2007, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you missed that one.
Lost to the Colts, right? 2006, I think.
Yeah. 2006, 2017.